Well, as the shareholders know, our system is different from that of most big corporations. We think it's less capricious. The stock option system will give extraordinarily liberal awards sort of by accident to some people, and it will deny other people any reward at all at some different time, in spite of great contributions made by the people who are getting nothing. So, except where we inherit it, we just don't use it. But we must be in a minority far less than 1%, right?
It's where we like to be, right? No, it's interesting. We inherited some stock options at Berkshire primarily in the General Re transaction. And not through any failing of anybody or there's no aspersion to be cast, but at all. But those options turned out to be quite valuable. They would not have been valuable if General Re had been left alone as a standalone company. They profited from the fact that other parts of Berkshire did well, and the money went to the people that had these options who delivered nothing to the performance of Berkshire for a while. Now that is not an indictment of anybody in the least at Gen Re. It's an indictment of an option system which represents a lottery ticket and also a royalty on the passage of time, because as you know, an option holder has benefits from retained earnings and benefits not at all from dividends. And that puts his interest maybe quite contrary to that of the shareholders. So we believe in paying for performance, but we believe in tying performance to what is actually under the reasonable control of the person that's being measured. And to give a lottery ticket on the overall results of Berkshire Hathaway to someone who is running a business that's 1% of the whole is really crazy. And I would say that you have seen probably more misdirected compensation throughout the corporate system, corporate America in the last 5 years, than in the 100 years before that. It's been extraordinary, and there was wealth creation in the 90s, just like in the 80s and the 70s and the 60s and the 50s. But there was a wealth transfer like had never been experienced before, and you can't blame people for wanting to cash in on it. If anybody wants to walk up and hand me a half a dozen lottery tickets for the Nebraska lottery, I'll accept them. But it will have nothing to do with how I do in terms of running Berkshire. Actually, Charlie and I think a properly designed option system, which includes cost of capital and some other factors, and ties it to the performance of the people involved, we think that can make sense. When we've used various incentive programs that are similar to that. But the idea of just passing them out and telling people that for 10 years they get a free ride, and then repricing, if your stock goes down, their stock doesn't go down, their option price goes down, that is not our idea of a great compensation system.
If we are right with our general approach, it has considerably important implications, because the natural implication is that more than 99% of corporate compensation systems are more than a little crazy in America. And I want to emphasize that Berkshire is not illiberal. I mean, we've got various incentive systems out where people make tens of millions and may make hundreds of millions. So we're not against rewards for people who make vast contributions, but a system that's basically capricious and which doesn't tailor the results per person and per activity very well, we just think it's crazy.